hello. You were breathing in my ear hole then, cheeky monkeys. Anyway, would you like me to show you how I edit this image taken of a water tower near Mountain Mowbray? If you want me to, then let's get stuck into it and I'll show you how. So a while ago, I was on a VW meetup. Actually, it was a wedding, dub fest, wed fest thing in Mountain Mowbray that I was invited to. Friends of ours. Driving in there, I spotted this water tower that I thought I've got to just go back and photograph, which I did that night. I went home, come straight back. The reason why I went that night was it was quite windy, got a lot of mood and atmosphere and wind, and I knew the clouds would be moving really quickly. The other thing I'm going to say is, if you think I've got a gravelly voice, a sexy voice, it's not. I've got a cold. Sort of. Sounds good though, doesn't it? You gotta admit, it does sound good. What I thought I'd do is I'll show you how I edit this image. Remove the horizon. I had every intention of removing the edge, so it's a fine art image. Just really simplify the image as much as possible. Let's get stuck into it. Now I've chosen this image because I really like that side light that it creates on the side of the building there. But the first thing we've got to do is we've got to get rid of this bit of a sun flare, and then we'll do some corrections to the upright geometry of the image. Okay, so we'll do a quick erase. My voice sounds really good today. I could do with man flu more often, I think. Okay, so that was nice, quick and easy. We'll remove some other stuff in a moment, but we'll do that in Photoshop because it'll do a better job. Let's correct the geometry of the building. It's leaning over and forward a little bit. So we'll go down to the area where we can transform it, the vertical horizon, vertical. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring it where I think, which is somewhere. Keep pushing somewhere there, and what I'm looking at is the upright of the building there. What we could do, if we just click on this little hashtaggy thing, we can draw down the side of the building like so. We can come down the other side. The problem is I can't see the other side very well, but we're just going to guess somewhere there, and that will automatically correct it for us. Let's do it that way. The other thing I would say is, obviously cropped it for us, put it on that below the bottom third. I like that because all the characters is in the sky pointing towards that one subject, and I love that. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple of quick general adjustments first, and then we've done. I'm just going to bring up the shadows a little bit like so, drop down the highlights like so, and then what we'll do now is we'll send it into Photoshop, remove everything, bring it back into Lightroom, finish it off. The first thing I'm going to do is just duplicate the layer in case I mess it all up. It saves me a bit of time. Then we'll just get the spot remove tool and we'll draw as close to the building as we dare, like so. Come across the horizon, make sure we grab everything that we want removing, the dark areas of the edge like so, and then we'll do the same the other side. I'll be really aggressive with it, try and get it all in one grab. Just going to downsize it a little bit, just grab it a little bit there, okay. And then we'll click the little ticks, let AI do its thing. It's done an okay job. It's made the foreground here a little bit shapy. Now I don't mind it quite even and level. It will look actually better, so I'm just going to give that another go there. It's done a little funky bit there. Let's just do that again. On the one side, left hand side's good, right hand side not so good. Okay, I don't mind that actually. We'll just remove some of the distractiony bits. And then what we're going to do, we'll just zoom in on the building itself, have a good look, make sure that around it looks original. Sometimes this will work first time, sometimes it'll take 2, 3, 4 times or even longer, but just keep working at it. You'll get there in the end. We can see that that bit of building there is a little bit strange there, and we can look the other side, a bit weird, don't know what that is, so we're going to remove that. Like so, just do a bit there, move over, hold the space bar while you're moving and just drag it over, and we're just going to select that there. It didn't do a very good job at all. I'm just going to scan across the horizon next just to have a little look there as well. A little bit there I don't like. Just move across. Just change that bit there. It looks too uniform, that bit area there. Get rid of that, that. I'm just going to go over that again, just see if it'll make it just a little bit straighter across that horizon. It might do. We can always jump back if not. Right, next thing we'll do is we'll send it back into Lightroom. Let's start bringing a little bit of detail and what have you out. Obviously I'm going to choose the sky, but I'm going to select landscape, and hopefully that will divide all the bits of image up into the parts that I want. But let's see what it does. It looks like it's done a pretty good job actually. Create. So we've created 3 layers. We've got the architecture, the subject, the natural ground, the field, and then the sky. So that's brilliant. So let's just work on the sky for a moment. Before I do anything, I'm going to right click and duplicate that layer. So I've got 2 sky layers to work on. Okay, so let's work on the first sky layer. So we'll drop down the highlights. We're going to bring up the DAs a little bit to bring that detail out in the clouds, and we're going to bring the clarity up, which will really make them clouds stand out. If we have a little look before and after, it's certainly made a massive difference already. Noise reduction, we're going to lift up a fair bit on that. Let's just have a little look. Just have a little look at the noise reduction. If I just centralise it again, because we're working and pushing the image, it will put noise into the image, especially when you're using DAs and things like that. So I've upped the noise reduction in the sky. It should make it a little bit smoother for us, which it has done. So let's come back out. Brilliant. Okay, I can see another dust spot there. We'll deal with that very quickly. What I would say is now Lightroom has got some good dust spot remove visualization. Looks like there's one there, certainly a circle there. So I'm going to get rid of that. Another dust spot there. It might be a raindrop. One there. Just anything that looks a little bit weird, we'll get rid of, remove. Yes, it was obviously sort of rain showers, wind blowing, dust on the lens, all this stuff. If you haven't seen the video, it was out about 6 weeks ago. Go and check that out. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Fantastic. Not keen on this colour of this yellow here. I don't think it's very nice. We'll have to adjust that. First of all, I'm still working on that sky. So that's the first sky select I did. I'm going to go to the second sky select, and I'm going to subtract a radial grad. I'm going to bring it over the image somewhere there. So that's now subtracted from that selection. So when I drop the exposure again, it will only alter the outer part of it and only the sky, which is what I want, because I want to sort of get the sky vignetting a little bit and getting a lot of detail coming back in there. Brilliant, that looks amazing. Let's try and adjust this yellow, horrible yellow colour. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to go down to the colour mixers, go to colour, point colour, click on the little dropper there, the eyedropper, select the colour. That will bring that up for me to adjust, so I can just tone that down and warm that colour or drop the colour. It just looks too mustardy to me. If we just drop the luminosity of it down as well. Oh, sorry, bring that up. We'll bring it up a little bit lighter. Drop the saturation down. Something there. We're just a little bit oversaturated, like so. I think that's a lot better. We'll just have a look before and after. Certainly a lot more natural colour, and it sort of matches the side light on the building as well. But to help that out, I'm just going to put a radial grad in there to one side. Just bring it in there, drop it where the sun would be. Bring the blacks up. Choose a colour, something like that. And again, that will sort of blend that image in together, even though it's still the same image. It just marries everything up a little bit. I'm just going to bring the exposure up a touch, like so. We'll just have a look what that's done before and after. Just get that burst of light from that right hand side, just to tie everything in a little bit. Brilliant. I'm going to do another little radial grad. What I want is to create a little bit of depth in the foreground, but not overdo it. It's a little bit flat, and the way I do that is with light. So if I just bring that up like so, that's fantastic. I'm going to do another radial grad, just bring it off to the right there, drop that exposure down like that, and then another little radial grad behind the building. And this one is basically to emphasize the shadow of the building by making it a little bit darker like so. And that, again, that's just created a little bit of depth in that foreground field by creating light hitting the ground. We'll do another radial grad in this corner here, bring that down. And as you can see, I like to work on an image that's slightly smaller, and that's because I can put the radial grad beyond the image, and you get that softer blend. And this is where I'm trying to emphasize these dark clouds coming in, all pointing towards the building there, like so. All doing it with radial grads. And if you notice, I just have the center sort of just off the image, and it just makes it blend in a little bit better, like so. That looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic. This image is pretty well done. I think what I'm going to do, just go back to the layers, click on architecture, which is the building, and I'm just going to put a bit of texture in there like so, which will just put a little bit of sharpness into the building as well. The next thing I'm going to do is get another layer, get my object select, and with this I'm going to show you a little technique by only selecting part of the building. I'm just going to see if it'll select just the side of the building. It should do. So we'll have a look what that's done. Perfect. Now I can work with that, because what I can do is I can just change the temperature of light there. A little bit warmer light, fantastic. And then we can just bring the exposure up a little bit. Now if I'll just show you what I've done there, just made the side of that building pop even more. Brilliant, loving that. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is do a little bit of colour grading. Go down to the colour grading module. I always work on highlights, midtones, and then shadows. It's just what I do. You don't have to, it's just what I do. This can add a lot of contrast to the image. And if I just up the sliders, see where the areas are changing. Obviously changing the highlights of the image. I'm just seeing what it's actually doing. And I'm just going to bring the luminosity of that right up and leave it at that. I'm not going to actually change the colour. Midtones. Sometimes with the midtones you need to bring them up. Sometimes you want to drop them down and make it more moody. I think I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. And I might even just add a little bit of warmth colour to it, like so. Just a little bit. If we whack it up, you can see, but it's just adding a little bit of colour to them midtones. And we did have that colour in the midtones because it was at sunset and some of the colour were coming through the clouds and you can actually see it within the clouds. Then we're going to go to the shadows. We'll drop that down to a nice blue coal tone, up the saturation just a little bit, and then I'm just going to drop down the luminosity on that, just about there. If we'll just have a look what we've done with that, just a before and after. Again, it's added a little bit of contrast, a little bit of detail. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it through a program to denoise it, because it's quite a big edit. Well, better just, before I do anything else, I'm just going to refresh all the masking, or update the masking so it all blends in properly, before I do my last procedure, which is a bit of denoise. Okay, last but not least, we will right click on the image, edit in, and we're going to pick, now there's two real good programs for denoise. One's Topaz Denoise and the other one's the DxO program. It's fantastic. I'm just going to have a look at Nic 8 Define and see how good that is. It probably doesn't come over on the image that there's hardly any noise in there. I can just see a bit. There's not a lot actually, but I can just see a little bit. So I'm going to just contrast noise and up the colour noise a little bit like so. That looks good, and then I'm going to apply, and that will do that, and then send it straight back into Lightroom. Job's a good one, and it does a fantastic job. Okay, like I say, please don't sneak up on me like that. You're doing it way too often, but I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.